Hello, I'm Elgato and welcome back to the video. So one of the interesting things about the 1.13 update for Minecraft is the fact that it's actually bringing a lot of previously mentioned and previously removed features from Minecraft's history back into the game. After many years of not being mentioned, they're bringing in the coral reefs, they're bringing in the actual fish model, the fish existing as a real thing like this, and they're also bringing in the simple concept of the turtle, again, a long time back one that they said they wanted to do, but never could find a way to. Lots of these old features are making their way back into Minecraft, and it makes me wonder, if this is a theme for the future of Minecraft, why not go over all of the mobs that they've removed? Because there's a fair number, given Minecraft is a now 9-year-old game, and why not go through each of these and show you what they did look like, show you how they did work by using this mod, which is the kind of memories mod, by showing what they look like in modern day Minecraft, just in case they do come back, and just to show you some crazy stuff from Minecraft's history that I honestly think you won't believe. So yeah, hopefully you do enjoy this video, like if you do like it, because it helps out the channel, and let us know you do like this sort of video, with the crazy mobs that, again, they range from like, oh yeah, that's believable, like fish, yeah, you could see how fish would be real, to the realms where you're gonna have to look it up afterwards if you don't believe me, because it's that crazy. But yeah, let's go straight into the first one, which is fish, of course. Fish are coming into Minecraft 1.13, not quite in the same form as this, not quite in the same form as mentioned, but essentially you'll be able to scoop up fish, like they're gonna be a real mob again, as opposed to just being something that you put your fishing rod on the ground and get. You'll be able to put them in aquariums, and you'll be able to do stuff like that. So again, old Minecraft idea from way back when Notch first implemented fishing, coming back into Minecraft 1.13. The latest idea to actually remove it, so we're gonna have to go into creative to even spawn this one, is actually going to be the giant though. The giant was only removed in 1.8.8, but that's a little bit of a misnomer. So that's officially when they removed the last fragments of the game code from the files again. But the interesting thing about the giant is the fact that for the longest time before that, since 2010, it hasn't truly been operational, and it hasn't really ever been in the survival game. It's been in there for a little bit for like the tiniest series of updates, but it mostly has been a behind the game files update, and this is what makes me realize that like it's probably not coming to the game as a full-on feature, because the giant just seems crazy OP. Again, if you don't know, it's just a zombie, but it's scaled up 10 times. It has 10 times more health. It's just a much bigger version of the zombie that's much, much harder to kill. And obviously, when the model's this big, it does a lot more damage, so you just have to watch out for it. So yeah, the thing about the giant, though, is I think realistically, it wouldn't make a good addition to survival Minecraft. So if it's going to come back to the game, which I think is highly possible, again, given all the things that have come back, I think it would come back as a very creative-only feature, because again, look out, isn't there something about this that inspires you to try and put one in your world? But it will either come back as a creative-only feature, or it would have to come back in some other form where like, oh yeah, only for modders and only for use in this way. But given the imagination this inspires, I don't see why that wouldn't be possible. So yeah, there's the giant. It's one of the dumbest, most interesting, but also scariest mobs just because of its sheer size in the game. In fact, the biggest mob Minecraft's ever made, right? But yeah, that's the latest example of a removed mob. But the next example is one that's a bit more realistic to come back, because it was the prior version of the certificate, or as you probably know today, the NPC villager, because villagers exist in Minecraft and have existed since, the full release of the game back in 2011. However, for the longest time, Minecraft was never going to have like a real human equivalent, because the NPC villager, also giants have a really weird despawn rule, but the NPC villager, honestly, it's kind of a human equivalent, and it's kind of a weird thing, right? Like, it doesn't make too much sense for the game. Well, the truth is Minecraft didn't ever intend to have NPC villagers. Instead, it intended to have pigmen. So pigmen look something like this. Again, so let me show you the pigmen. Pigmen look something like this. As you can see, they're like villagers, but they're made from like, pig bodies instead. And yeah, you'd be able to trade with the pigmen, and you could use your rubies at the time to get their stuff. This was how trading was going to be. They were going to be, Minecraft was going to have this society of pig people that were managing to trade with you. And honestly, I like this idea for it way better. And it's just a really, really bizarre thing that we went from having pig people, which, by the way, the guy who suggested pigmen eventually ended up getting a cape that was later removed. Fun fact you've seen in another video. But yeah, basically, the pigmen was a really great idea that they later just decided against. Maybe it's just too weird. Honestly, like, you gotta think about it. Like, if Minecraft was decided with pigmen, there'd be a whole bunch of weird stuff, and, pigs would have different, I feel like people would think about pigs entirely different in the real world, but I think pigmen would have been way more interesting than they're just like, oh yeah, they're like real people, but they have really big noses. No, I much prefer the pigmen to the villagers, and let me show you them side by side just in case you don't believe me, because you might think like, nah, pigmen are way better. No, look at this. This is the villager. Look at him. He's like some weird, like person style thing with a huge forehead and nose. No, I like the pigmen much better, and if you don't, then I don't know what's wrong with you. So yeah, pigmen could come back in some form. Maybe, here's my favorite idea for it. Given that the files were already made, and given it's all in there and stuff like that, why not make it so there is a rare type of village, like 1 in 100, 1 in 50 chance, where you'll find pigmen instead. That's such a, again, it's such a small thing to add to the game, but it would add so much characteristics to it. And again, I think the pigmen was pretty cool when it was first added to the game, and it didn't just have its, again, it was originally intended like this, but then it later became like the zombie pigmen. But before it was the zombie pigmen, they made 2 separate variants of it, which I'm going to show you right here. We've got the ranged pigmen looking something like that. It's kind of like a skeleton, but instead of a thing, it's like that. And we got the melee pigmen. So wouldn't it be cool if you added all three of these mobs? Perhaps the, the pigmen village, to protect their pigmen, they have these guys who fight off the wild mobs. Again, I love the idea of a society of pigs. Maybe I'm crazy, and this is the point of the video where you're like, you know what, again, I respected everything you said until you started going on about that roundabout pigmen. But no, I really believe having pigmen to trade with, either as a rare option or just as a different option, maybe they take diamonds instead of emeralds, would be pretty darn cool. Or just take more emeralds. Whatever it is, I think we need to have pigmen villages in the game, because seriously, I want to trade with this dude. I want to have us both have successful, prosperous societies, and that can only happen if we introduce the pigmen and we let us trade. So let's move on next to the mobs from before that, because again, now we've gone through the bigger kind of mobs. We're going to talk about Minecraft mobs which had two forms, and the first one of these is Steve right here. So Steve used to exist as just the Steve player model, but then it started to exist like this. And the reason for this is because way back when, in the early days of Minecraft success, back when it was like, oh, I need to hire some people, Notch hired obviously the C418 to do the music, which you probably can hear a little bit in the background there, but he also hired an artist to make these, and he made a brand new Minecraft logo, which, by the way, in my opinion, looks terrible, and he also hired a bunch of artists, to make a bunch of new mobs for the game, and obviously the artist had a different interpretation of Minecraft stuff, and this is the Steve mob he made. This could have been what Steve looked like, instead of like, blocky man Steve could have looked like this in Minecraft, and honestly, I have nightmares sometimes thinking about it, because, I mean, first of all, the way he walks is just a little bit too unnatural, but second of all, there's just something about this that just doesn't fit the rest of the game. It's like, in the same way that we made the wrong decision with the pigman over the villager, I think we made the right decision having the current version of Steve over the old version, and as a fun fact, the four mobs he actually designed were actually called Steve, which you just saw right there. So here's Steve, here is Black Steve, a second version, who looks like just old man grandpa Steve that's also black. So again, when I say Black Steve, people are always like, that's racist. No, it's a real mob from Minecraft's past. Then we've got Beast Boy over here, which has to be some form of copyright infringement. And then finally we've got Rana. So the crazy thing about this is again, female protagonist in Minecraft from way back. This one obviously has the most details, and she has like frog eyes for some reason. Again, honestly, it's just really weird. This could have been the whole style of Minecraft mobs. This could have been what everyone looked like, as well as the whole game looked like. And honestly, I'm glad it isn't like that. Like, think about the difference between me, again, this is me a Steve-based skin, or it might be Alex, but, Steve or Alex-based skin versus Rana or a Beast Boy or something. It's just really crazy to look at. For some reason, she keeps staring at me. No, I wanna get the picture next to each other. So, yeah, this is how Minecraft really was gonna be at one point, and this is something that I don't think we'll ever see come back, but we could see, because, again, we saw a new female character come into the game, but she was called Alex, not Rana. Maybe we could see, like, some form of equivalent Steve, like, again, looking like the current one, not the old one, because the Steve mob was, always accessible in the game for quite some time. Only recently was it truly removed. Also, these mobs had really weird drops. They were kind of like the replacement for the creeper, the zombie, the skeleton, etc. So again, Steve drops like feathers and something, I think, gunpowder and feathers. Yeah, gunpowder and feathers, like he's a chicken creeper. Whereas Black Steve drops, I think it's string and the same. Basically, they all drop weird things, gunpowder and feathers too. Whereas Rana, because she's a girl, drops string. It's just, honestly, it's weird stuff that every time I look at, I'm reminded of just, honestly, this could have been the make or break thing in Minecraft's past. Like, imagine if this was Minecraft today. Like, oh yeah, this is just a normal Minecraft screenshot I'm taking right here, where I just happen to be next to two of the mobs, then things would have been pretty crazy, pretty different, and honestly, maybe Minecraft wouldn't have been so successful, because there's just something uncanny about this, and yeah, that's the last of the removed mobs I wanted to talk about today. However, there is one more, mob that has been mentioned, in the same way fish were mentioned, in the same way all these other things were mentioned, and that is actually the red dragon. So, people have this huge disbelief of the red dragon, and honestly, the reason why that is mostly because, like, guess what? We live in a day where, every YouTuber is making up things and saying it's in updates just because, like, views or whatever. And I get that. That's, like, how those YouTubers are being successful, by lying to their audiences or whatever. And obviously, when you see that so much, like, oh, Minecraft 1.14, the hunger update, or whatever, people claim to do in their titles, you can look at that and you can say, like, well, the red dragon is clearly just like, oh yeah, someone would want to click that, so that's what people say it. But no, the red dragon is an idea from Minecraft's past. So the red dragon is here in this mod, again, Minecraft 1.8 mod. It's pretty crazy just seeing all this stuff in modern day Minecraft, but the red dragon was a mob that did, have intentions of existing, and it even has been referenced several times by Dinnerbone, because they wanted to have two dragons, an end dragon for the end, as well as a red dragon, a different dragon for the Earthworld. They never implemented the red dragon, but then they made multiple references saying, like, oh yeah, it'll come at some point in the future, and then Dinnerbone's last thing was saying, like, oh yeah, well, we just don't know how it's going to work. We're not going to say never. We think at some point in the far future, but now is is not the time. And given he said that in 2013, I still think that 2018 will be the perfect time to come back and be like, yeah, actually, Red Dragon, 5 years on, people really want it, people still ask about it, and yeah, that's why the Red Dragon is one of the features that we really might see come to Minecraft. Again, unlikely, I'm not saying like this is definitely happening, but I'm not saying, unlike, a lot of these other things that people just, they use a mod and they say this is definitely coming from Minecraft. This is a mod based on features from Minecraft, and that is why I'm showing you in today's video. And honestly, I shouldn't have gone a little rant about that, but it is one of those things that really upsets me, because I try to, be as informative as possible on this channel, and some YouTubers spend like their whole, channel trying to be disinformative almost, because, if you disinform people, then you make them click, then it has some benefits. But no, the whole channel, these are real mobs that are from Minecraft's past. They could be coming in the future. I think there are varying degrees of unlikely. Like, I honestly think the pigmen is the most likely, because, again, just wouldn't it be cool if we had pigmen villagers? Hashtag bring back the pigmen. I think the red dragon is then next most likely, and then probably the giant, and then, never ever ever, but possibly these guys, because like no one wants these guys back in the game. I'm glad they're in the the trash pile of history, and that's just one of the facts about this update. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed seeing Minecraft's old removed features in a current update. I wanted to show off all of the mobs first and just see what you thought of this. If you did enjoy this video and you want to see more, this whole mod covers a bunch of other stuff, like the lectern, the dyed planks, the cherry blossom, for instance, the spike blocks. A lot of other Minecraft things that were added to the game then later removed are in this update too. So again, look at this. We got some spike blocks. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Do you want to see all of this, or do you think like actually the mobs are probably the most interesting part? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know which of the mobs you want to see, and if you think they're even likely and stuff like that. Like if you did like it, share if you really liked it, subscribe if you're around here, and I'll see you all next time. So I want to just knock this. There we go. There we go. As you can see, it's very dangerous. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.